Mikhail, thank God that isn't my job. I don't envy you your responsibility. I want to first of all thank you and the organizers for inviting me to participate on this panel. I think that what you're doing is tremendously important. Instituting a way for citizens and outside experts to make their views known to the government is just extremely valuable. And I think this is going to be happening more and more in countries around the world. And you're starting early, and I want to congratulate you on your successes so far. I saw a rating in which Russia came 10th in the openness of its budget, above Germany, which is quite remarkable. I'm glad also to hear that you intend to continue with the open data aspect of your work, and to extend that to other ministries and departments of the state. I think that's very valuable, and I hope that you will do that not only in the ministries that perhaps already are quite open with their data and are the easiest to work with, but you'll push hard to really get this happening in parts of the government which are much more reluctant to share data and openness. What I'm going to say about recommendations or challenges you face is going to sound a bit familiar after Vladislav and Chris, but I'd like to reinforce some of the points that were made. The first one is, I think your main challenge, it's not going to be a surprise to you, is overcoming skepticism on the part of the public and also experts. Because citizens will only want to talk to the government if they think the government really wants to listen. And at this point, as you know, many doubt this. There was a Levada Center poll not so long ago which found that a total of 15% thought that they could have, this is ordinary people, thought that they could have any influence at all on the government, and 81% were sure they couldn't. Also with regard to experts, there's a long tradition in this country of the Prime Minister, the President, asking for the advice of experts. In fact, they're very open to advice from experts. The experts seem to be always working on a new program for the government in very visible ways. And you need to advertise this. So it's not just traditional PR, but you need to make people know. And the best way to do that is with very concrete examples of people who look like ordinary people who have been helped. Or in addition to that, if you can point out that your projects on government expenditures, government procurement have prevented major corrupt or wasteful spending projects, that you've saved the government a certain amount of money, that can be very powerful. Now, again, as you know, open government faces some competition these days from other people who are using information technology to point out the failings of government, including in opposition circles. People who are making it possible for ordinary citizens to report potholes and put pressure on the traffic police to fix them, and various other projects. So there's a race, and the challenge for you is to stay ahead of the race and to win that race. And that requires credibility with ordinary people. I think you're aware of that challenge. And it's good to have that challenge because when there's competition, the results are often superior. Now, the main danger I would see for open government at the moment is that it will remain a sort of ministry on the side. And as you said, Mikhail, it's not an individual, it's a system. But the danger is that it'll remain this kind of isolated part of the government. Other parts of the government will treat it like a foreign body, an invader, something they need to protect themselves against. They'll try to pretend to comply without really changing anything. Of course, that won't be enough. Open government will only succeed when the whole government is open. So you need to change them even though they don't want to be changed. And they're right to be concerned because what you're doing is revolutionary. And I think the only way to make this happen, it's not enough to rely on support from the top, because in Russia, even with a lot of support from the top, not everything is implemented exactly as the decision makers want. What you need to do is to make the ministries themselves, the leaders in the ministries themselves, interested in what you're doing. You need to sell your services to them. And the way to do that, I think, is to show that they can control what's going on lower down in the hierarchy using your methods. That the head of the MVD can find out what individual policemen are doing all around the country very quickly and accurately using your methods, in fact, in a way which is much more accurate and reliable than their own internal methods of communication. So if you can sell what you're doing not as some sort of foreign program that's being imposed on them by a sort of government leadership that is very zealous about modernization, but actually a tool that they can use to improve their performance and to succeed better in their own sphere, then that will be great. And of course, I have to say something which I'm sure you know, which is sort of obvious, but often isn't said. And that's that the most effective tools for open government are the ones which you are not allowed to use. They don't fall in your jurisdiction. And that is political reforms to introduce the kind of institutions that in many democracies provide information, provide channels of communication, provide accountability. And I hope that open government will not remain something that's done instead of the kinds of political reforms that would improve the quality of government and give people greater confidence in government institutions. I hope that open government will continue in parallel to that kind of political reforms, but that, I understand, goes far beyond any individual's jurisdiction.